Oh, my God, folks. This is, why can't we have nice things? And welcome into the chat room, everyone. Houdini will join me in just a bit. Kansas State has not led in this game since it was 8-5. 8-5. UC has led the rest of the game. They've led by typically 8 to 12 points consistently. And Kansas State has a 1-point lead with 1:16 to go. This team's been making me pull out my hair. You're saying your hair's thinning, Chuck. No, it's not because I stopped using the Rogaine and the Propecia. It's because of the Bearcats. 72-71, minute 12 to go. Day Thomas. Right wing John Newman, who's been fantastic, has 18 for Cincinnati. Victor Locken is in the game. He hasn't played in quite some time. He falls down, but he's fouled. That is foul number... Locken's down. Everyone's getting hurt right now. Locken's down. Jameel Reynolds has been down. Seamus Lukosius banged his head. 3 players. Dan Skillings isn't even playing in this game. He's got a banged-up hip. C.J. Frederick not playing. That's 5 Bearcats that have either been hurt or were hurt entering this game as Locken limps off. 61 seconds to go. He's on the bench. And here we go. Bearcats have it. They just never make it easy, do they? And the game again on ESPN Plus, so I have to watch on the phone. I mean, I got the nice setup right here. I got a great monitor in front of me. Can't even use it. Can't even use it. Oh, God. I've been off the screen this entire time. Come on, Kirby. You got to frame me up, baby. We got to get one of those robotic cams. What happened? I missed it. Oh, God. Good thing I missed it because the Bearcats missed it. All right, Kansas State has it, and they look like they could win this game. 45 seconds to go. This is going to be a disgusting post-game show if Cincinnati loses this game. I mean, how do you lose this game potentially? Kansas State stinks, folks. Deep 3, missed it. Get that board. Aziz has it. 21 seconds to go. Jizzle James has the ball in his hand. Timeout, Wes Miller. What will Wes draw up? Oh, God. This was not supposed to be this way. I walked downstairs with 4 minutes to go, and it was a 11-point game or something. Let me get up this play-by-play so I can give you guys a clear depiction of exactly what's happening if you're not watching. Cincinnati was up by 9 with 5 minutes to go. They were up by 10 with 5:58 to go. With 3:27 to go, they were up 5, and they haven't scored since. It's been 3 minutes and 8 seconds where the Bearcats have not scored, and they're going to have to score, or their season is 1,000% over. I mean, we buried them last weekend, so they're dead. Don't get me wrong. But they win this game. They went on the road against Oklahoma. Maybe they beat West Virginia, sneak out, won the tournament. Maybe. But God bless, they got to win this game. If not, they are 2-6 at home, and this would be the most disgusting of them all. We may have to call my buddy Coach, who's up in the rafters in 218 right now, get him on the horn because he has to be furious. Houdini's setting up the equipment. He'll join me in just a bit. We went Coors Light today. Lucky Coors Light. Just one today, folks. We're keeping it nice and easy. Houdini's not on yet, Kirby. You can pop up that image so they don't have to see the black screen. Thank you, sir. A little foamy. All right. 72-71, Bearcats have the ball. 1 timeout to go. 19.6 remains in the game. Your best players today have been John Newman, Day Thomas, and Jizzle James. Lukosius has been really good, too. Had a great start to the game, 10 points early. Hasn't done a ton since. Lukosius, the trigger man, will give it to Jizzle James. 19 to go. Let Jizzle operate. Just let him operate. Thank God he's on the floor.
Let's
Jizzle.
go. Let's go.
Lukosius. Open 3. Got it! Oh, baby! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Hold on. We're just setting the scene, Houdini, taking everyone into Fifth Third Arena. Oh my God! Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I was begging to get in.
I can hear you. Welcome.
Is
Oh my
Kirby on the
God!
ones and twos? Somebody let me in. Oh, all right.
Kirby's on the ones and twos. Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Why are you saying I want to get let in?
Well, no, because there was the waiting whatever thing on my side, and I was like, I don't think Chuck can hear anything I'm saying. As I'm watching Lukosius hit the prettiest three that I've seen all year.
What big nuts from CMOS Lukosius, man. Oh, what a dialed that thing up. I thought Jizzle was going to operate there, but no, they get Lukosius off the screen.
Yeah. Tee up the South Park with the wheelbarrow and the huge balls. Tee up that GIF or something. Let's get that thing running because that was.
Hold on. It's going to take me a minute.
Oh, man.
I may miss the end, but I'm going to do my best. South Park. First thing I type in
Chuck.
South
you don't
Park.
Need to get it up, but it is unbelievable.
Oh, we're getting it. That may be a little inappropriate, honestly. We take this pretty far. The show is not rated G by any means, but that may be a stretch. We'll, for the sake of the Chatterbox brand, we'll stay away from that one.
Oh, that's off them. That's us. That's our ball.
I'm behind.
That's our ball, Chuck.
That's off them. That's our ball. Thank you, Houdini. 2.7 seconds to go. Cincinnati 74, Kansas State 72. Zebras are going to review this game, but the Bearcat faithful's going nuts. Down the drive's got to be ready. Rayvon Griffith jumping up and down.
Review it all you want, Chuck. That was blatantly off
good.
Kansas State.
What are the Houdini metrics at?
Dude, I'm not even going to do it because you know for a fact that I'll end up, if I say 98% Houdini metrics, we win this game, we're going to lose. So get the ball in bounds for the love of God and make it at least one of these free throws because we've seen this before. Hit one of these, get it to – actually, it's a good question. I think you got to give it to CMOS, Lukosius to shoot the free throws, right? Or Day.
You don't want to get to CMOS. If you get it to CMOS, he'll knock him down, but you don't want to get it to CMOS. Day, I don't know about Day. I'd take Jizzle. I think Jizzle's got pretty big stones. Just don't get the ball in bounds to Aziz Bandaogo. Hopefully he's not on the floor. Let's put it that way. That would be tough.
Okay, if Aziz Bandaogo is on the floor, that will be one of the most egregious moves in the history of college basketball.
I'd put Locken on the floor.
Locken just tore his ACL in half.
True. Forgot about that. Everyone's gotten hurt in this game. Good God.
I think he's okay. I think he's okay. He wheeled over to the sidelines. I think he's all right. Well, we hope he's all right, obviously. I just don't understand why the refs need to review this for 10 hours. It is the most blatant thing of all time. It should take you 12 seconds to review it and then see the clock. That's it. But it shouldn't take you an hour and a half.
I thought that years ago when UC was hosting one of the most electric games in Fifth Third history, when Russ Smith hit that game winner against UC for Louisville, there was a play with a minute left where there was about a 15-minute review, and we were saying the same thing in our college house. We were saying, that is clearly off Louisville. Patino, what are you arguing about? It's a no-brainer, and they reversed the call and gave it to Louisville, and it ended up costing us the game.
It's our
so
ball.
You never know.
It's our ball.
Okay.
We're inbounding, Chuck, because you're behind.
Yeah, I'm 2 seconds behind.
Oh, God. Holy shit. Okay.
No.
John Newman.
Okay, we're fine.
John Newman.
He's had a great game. John Newman, he's one of our topics today. Hello, Newman. He's been great. Topics today, Cats use protection. Hello, Newman. The computers like you see will go around the Big 12, and we'll talk about the Oklahoma Sooners, who are up next for Cincinnati. I thought we were for sure losing this game.
Oh, my God. When Perry hit that prayer of a three, yeah.
Perry's great. 26 points. Missed it?
He missed it. Yep.
Oh.
God, dude. Every time.
Kansas State's going to have a shot to ruin Houdini and my lives. This equipment is going through the window. This equipment's going through the window. This Steve Logan jersey is getting ripped off the wall. I'm going to take Jordan and Pippen and throw them through the sunroof. I mean, God bless. Finish off a game, Bearcats. One time. I mean, the blood pressure, man. It's been tough. I mean, your poem, you said that this team, they don't allow you to be sober for it. And they don't. That's why I cracked myself a Coors Light.
No, they don't.
Extremely sober, but
they don't.
I figured I'd have a victory sip. By the way, is this the champagne game if they win?
No. I'm literally, at this point, the champagne is going to be
going to
on
next
ice.
year? It's going to next year? We're going to save it for football?
Yes. I refuse to pop champagne as a 6-point favorite at home against Kansas State. At that point, we're accepting defeat as a program. I can't do it. I won't do it. If we make the dance, Selection Sunday, that I will pop champagne then, absolutely. But we got a lot of work to do, including making a damn free throw in this game.
1.5 seconds to go. Kansas State is going to have a heave and a chance to win it.
Oh, my God, dude. I'm an idiot. I thought it was a double bonus, too. Jesus, I'm an idiot. Okay.
What happened? I don't like your reaction to this. All right, they chuck it down the floor.
No, I think we're good. I think we just won.
Oh!
The ref's going nuts. The ref's pointing at everybody.
Okay, put point one on the clock. We don't care. We're running the actually, we can't do that. That would be like the remember the Michigan State-Michigan game years ago? Yeah, a reporter came out. He was outside the stadium, and he's like, there's 15 seconds to go, and yeah, actually the game just ended. The Wolverines beat Michigan State in the game, and in reality, the fans were going crazy because there was that botched punt, and Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, he scores! The Sean McDonough. And the reporter's like, yeah, Michigan, a huge win tonight. Looked like an idiot. So we're not going to do that until we see that the time is at 0.
So
there's point one. There's point one.
If it's off us, there's going to be 0.3 seconds, which I believe technically is enough for a extremely quick catch and shoot. I think it's 0.3 is the minimum. Is it 0.4 or 0.3? There's one. If you have, I know for 0.2 you have to literally just tip it in. 0.3 might be a catch and shoot. If it's 0.4, it's definitely a catch and shoot, which is going to be a major difference in how they're going to play this last play. If it's off, it's off of Z's.
Okay,
it's going to be about 0.3 or 0.4 on this clock.
Realistically, we shouldn't be scared, but after seeing the American Athletic Conference tournament in like 2016, where UConn hit about a 70-footer against us, I don't like the point system.
Chuck, I know you're not here, but in Cincinnati, we're always scared. This is the exact recipe for disaster. So I'm hoping they decide to do 0.2 on this clock because anything can happen, really.
Jay Celia says,
Ball
Chuck,
game
you're
over.
better from the line than these guys. It's over?
It's over. I don't even know what the hell they just did. They just called it. They
said,
screw it.
Cats fans eat free. All right, folks. Chatterbox Bearcats, hop in the chat. Leave your comments. We'll feature you on the show. Chuck and Houdini. Let's do it, everybody. Let's go, Bearcats. Let's go, Cats!
Why all the long faces? We're not dead yet.
Whoa! Are we not dead yet? Welcome to Chatterbox Bearcats, everyone, with Chuck and Houdini. Bearcats get the job done, taking down Kansas State 74-72. First home win in what feels like forever. Give me the facts on when that last home win was. It was against UCF. It had to have been over a month ago. We'll get to the details in just a bit, but the Bearcats have a slight pulse. They have 3 quad one wins on the season. Did not pick one up against Kansas State today, but they picked up a win. They're going to have a chance to pick up another quad one win against Oklahoma. That would make it 4. Computers like the Bearcats right now. We're getting into that in just a bit, but let's talk about what just unfolded at the old Shoemaker Center. Bearcats were running away with this one. Kansas State didn't look like a match for Cincinnati, and with 15 seconds to go, Simas Lukosius had to have some big nuts for the Bearcats to pull one out. What were your overall reactions of watching that game down the stretch?
It's every game. For a second, I said, "Oh my God, we're gonna actually get a pull away in this one." We were up 13, I think, with 5 minutes left. I thought
Walk-ons were
maybe
getting
we
ready.
win
Yeah,
this.
they were stretching. They were getting the hammies ready.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, like give me a little CJ Anthony for the love of God. Let that guy play a little bit. Again, we refused to do that, and all signs, like you were saying, all signs were pointing towards a disastrous loss after Perry launched that Hail Mary of a three and hit it, and we've been dogging them for their down the stretch plays all year, and they put it together. Lukosius hit a massive shot, big nuts, Lukosius, and we come out with a win. But you would have wished it was a little cleaner than that, but you can't complain.
Clean it was. I mean, the Bearcats had 3 turnovers in the first half, 3 in the second half. That gives them a total of 6 in the game. That's how you win basketball games. You don't give it away 20 times. UC also shot at 47%, one of their best three-point shooting games in a long time, 8 of 21, good for 38%. They were out-rebounded by 10. Their worst performance rebounding of the season, losing that statistic 37-27. But you wonder, with those stats I just gave you, how in the hell was this a game? And the answer was it wasn't a game. Till about 5 minutes to go, Kansas State went on a 10-0 run, cutting a 10-point lead to a 10-point Bearcats lead to a 1-point Bearcats deficit with 19 seconds to go. That's when Jizzle James found Simas Lukosius off a curl. Lukosius banged in a three. He had 13 points in the game, behind only Day Thomas, who had 14, and John Newman, who had 18. Jizzle James chipped in 10, and the Bearcats win at 74-72. For the effort today. For the effort. And who else? Aziz had 6 points, 8 rebounds. Locken had 6 points, 7 rebounds. Hurt late in the game. Hopefully Victor is okay. We'll get into some of that in just a bit. Alex Frank is at the press conference. He'll have all the details for the morning podcast. Jameel Reynolds had 1 point. He went down in the game. And Josh Reed had 4 points. But for Cincinnati, here's what I'm going to do, Houdini, because I've been dogging them lately. But I respect the effort, once again, and the resiliency from this team, who we just buried last week, to not listen to the public, to not listen to the idiots like us, and come out and play hard. Here's what I want to do to Wes Miller today. A couple of gifts that'll really summarize. First one. And the second one. This guy right here. I love this guy, Houdini.
Shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand.
Wes Miller. We got to pop his head in over that lady right
Shake your
there.
hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. Before me off the fucking plate. I want to shake his hand.
All right, keep it PG, buddy. Keep it PG. But I want to shake his hand. Wes Miller. I thought this team was just toast after TCU and after 10 minutes of Houston. They look so bad. I'm thinking in my mind, these are young guys. Season's most likely over. Public is talking. Maybe this team mails it and finishes in last place in the Big 12. They showed some fight today. Would have liked it to be a little bit cleaner. And Kansas State's not good. Bearcats were 6-point favorites. I completely forgot. I had Bearcats -6. Now I'm pissed off. I had a large sum of money on Bearcats -6, and I was just focused on the win. Oh, God. Greg wins. Our guy, Reds Daily, Greg, he put money on Kansas State +6. So congrats, Greg.
Doing the emotional hedge. It's for cowards. We love Greg. We love Reds Daily. It's a coward move. He knows it. I told him that. You got to either bet your guys. I actually couldn't bet this because if you watched any game at home, taking UC -6 against damn near anybody is a wild move. And you said Kansas State's not good. Kansas State's a solid basketball team. I mean, they are, before this game, were ahead of us as far as the Lenardi statistics of getting into the tournament. So getting this win was big. And we did it without Dan Skillings, man. I mean, our technical leading scorer did not play. And like you were saying, the intangibles of Wes Miller, as much shit as we give him, and everybody's kind of throwing him under the bus, his players play. They don't quit. Because you're right, this would have been a perfect opportunity to quit. Would have been this game right here, and they fought throughout the whole thing, and then they almost blew it. Don't get me wrong, they almost made this a disastrous day, but they figured it out and got the win. So you got to give them credit across the board, man.
Dan Skillings, UC's leading scorer, as you mentioned, misses the game. Wes Miller told Dan Horde before the game that Skillings had a really good 2 days of practice, but in the last 24 hours, some hip pain came up. Hip pain is not good. I come from a family that deals with hip pain. That's something that can keep you out for a long time if it's lingering. So hopefully Dan Skillings is good. Tried to get all day.
Family that deals with hip pain.
Yeah, a family that deals with hip pain. A wife and a
Thoughts
father-in-law.
and prayers to the Walters. Yeah, thoughts and prayers, man.
It's the other side of the family. But yes, tough kid, Dan Skillings is, but not able to go in this game. Kansas State led 8-5. UC led the entirety of the game until about 19 seconds to go. So, yes, that would have been a disaster to say the least. Bearcats used protection, though. 29-6 was the points off turnovers in favor of UC. 29-6. I like to think that some of that had to do with that two-guard lineup or that two-point guard lineup that they played in the game with Jizzle James and Day Thomas. This was by far the most we've seen ever of those two on the floor at the same time. And what do you know? It leads to a faster pace. It leads to turnovers and 29 points in transition for Cincinnati.
Yeah, and it leads to – and you got to give them credit as well because – as much as we like Day and Jizzle, they have been so turnover prone. It has been a massive detriment. They took care of the ball, and that's not only them. As a team, we had 6 turnovers? Is that right? 6 turnovers on the game. That's how you win games, man. You have 6 turnovers. Things that get a lot easier. In shooting 47% from the field, I would assume that's got to be by far the best field goal percentage we've had in the Big 12. Maybe beside, that's got to be number 1. And that's not even that great, but this team on offense seems to struggle. When we have Jizzle and Day playing at the same time, they both played great today. It opens up so many different options for this offense. And having John Newman, and I know this is part of the Hello Newman, but we were saying the other day that Newman has been non-existent, and it really hurt our team. 18 points from John Newman, man, and look where we're at. So,
John Newman,
to the players, and they play their ass off.
Newman had a combined 23 points over his last 5 games, had not scored in double figures in any of those games, and he comes up with 18 today. Best game in a long time, knocking down threes, thunderous dunks. Day Thomas was great as well. He had, I believe, was the final tally 14 in the game.
He had 14.
Two of those 14 being that windmill dunk that was pretty egregious, especially considering how the game was going. Kansas State's climbing back into it. Day gets a steal, and instead of just laying it in or a little two-handed layup dunk, he goes with the full windmill. But man, this team has some electricity. Not a lot of wins to show for it, 17th of the season, but this is the most high-flying, shot-blocking Bearcats team we've definitely seen since the Cronin era. No doubt about it. Yeah.
I mean, well, if Tari Eason played a little bit more ball when he was here, that might have changed a little bit, but you're right. This team, they're fun, especially – when you're not turning the ball over. Like I said, it makes it so much easier to watch. The flow tonight was so much better than we've seen in the past several games. And we're a deep roster, and it showed today with your leading scorer coming out of the game. In the point spread, we were minus 6.5. The leading scorer is not playing, and DraftKings dropped it to -6. So that just shows you the depth that the team has, in Vegas is obsessed with UC at home. It still makes no sense. We didn't cover this spread. But the point, how it was spread out, I mean, we had 18 from Newman, 13 from Lukosius, 14 from Day, 10 from Jizzle. It's a deep roster, and a lot of guys can beat you. And everybody came together today, and lo and behold, we still almost blew the game. So we got to be better. We got to be better down the stretch. This ain't going to do it, but, hey, we got the win.
Did everything right and did everything right on our home floor. And who is it? Should we add him to the show?
It's Ken Merritt. He does this every time. He'll text me yo, are you doing the show? While I'm doing it. I'm like, yes, I'm currently doing it. You do not need to call me to confirm as well.
Tell him to hop in the chat room.
Idiot.
Day Thomas, when those threes are falling, he had 2 of them today. He was like a 40% three-point shooter in JUCO. He's been hovering in the low 20s this year. If he can just hit a respectable 35%, he'd be so good. He would be so good because he can get his shot off with ease. What the Cats need, because I like their guards moving forward, they need a better scoring big. Locking down low, the announcers alluded to it during the game. What Victor Locke needs to do right now is just go out and get rebounds, which he did today, grabbing 7 of them. He needs to go out and find the ball because the shot's not falling, especially the three-pointer. We heard that was a part of his arsenal. We saw it against Georgia Tech, I think, knocking down his first 4. Today, when that first one went up, I was like, he needs to see this fall so bad. Please, for the love of God, make this go in. I'm thinking like the Sandlot, please catch it. Please catch it. I'm trying to will that basketball to go into the net, and it was just a brick. And when I'm talking brick, like 200 miles per hour rifled off the side of the backboard. I was like, oh, God, come on, Vic. And then he tried another one and missed it. So not a great shooter. Hasn't been scoring the ball a ton lately. But here's the deal. We have those 3, Aziz, Victor, and Jamil, and Sage coming back next season. And we have Tyler McKinley coming in. Those are your bigs, but they need to find someone down low, a Gary Clark, a senior year Justin Jackson, a senior year Trey Scott, someone that you can give the ball to on the block to space the floor a little bit because they don't have a ton of that right now. But the guard play, man, Seamoss, Day-Day, Jizzle, I like those 3. That's your core you're talking about.
No, exactly. And that's why I said, I mean, if we get those guys back, all of them, I like that. If you supplement that with a true point guard, because I don't think Day-Day, Jizzle might develop into that at some point. But I agree with the big men. I think Victor is the best as far as just footwork and actual, moves in the post. Aziz, we've seen that basically 0 post game. Reynolds is more of just kind of bully his way in there, and I like Reynolds' game, but he can't be your offensive threat as a post guy, your go-to guy. If we get somebody in there that can, actually utilize the paint a little bit better than our guys that are doing it, I think that would open the floor up for a lot of the rest of the offense. And like you said, with that core of those guards, man, there's a lot of potential. If we get the right lineup out there and the right guys with the right assets, we could be in good shape, man. Like I don't think we're that far off. Like I was saying yesterday when you had the pitchforks out or the other game, we're not that far off. We're like a player or 2 away from being a legit contender in the Big 12. I believe that.
I yell because I care, Houdini, and I'm emotional. And today I'm happy after a win at the end of the game. Is the season over is what people are asking in the chat right now. Does this win mean anything, or is it just a nice win that the Bearcats finally needed to see at home? I don't know. It's really tough to say. I do know that Cincinnati's now 6-10 in the Big 12. If they were to go 7-11, you would have to imagine that they have no shot of getting into the NCAA tournament. However, if they beat Oklahoma 7, and if they beat West Virginia 8, and go 8-10, and they'd have 4 quad 1 wins, could they potentially have a shot? You would say, based on what Lenardi's projecting and Jerry Palm and all these bracketologists, my guy Rocco Miller, you would say that no, they probably don't have a shot where they stand right now in terms of other bubble teams. But today, on CBS, they popped up a little blind tournament resume. They didn't have the logos up first. And they put up Gonzaga, Wake Forest, Cincinnati, Utah State, and Seton Hall. Of those 5 teams, Cincinnati was the only one that's like clearly not in the bubble. Other teams, Wake Forest, first 4 out, Gonzaga, last 4 in, Seton Hall, last 4 in. And they had the professionals go through and checkmark the teams that should get in. And they checkmarked, and that's before the win tonight. They checkmarked Cincinnati is in. They said Gonzaga's out. They said the Bearcats, with their 3-8 record against quad 1 teams and a strength of schedule that's 26th in the country and now 17-12, should be into the NCAA tournament. So the question is going to be, how much do they value these computers as compared to conference records? Because the best UC can do is 8-10. 8-10 teams in years past typically do not belong anywhere near the NCAA tournament. However, you got teams like South Florida in the American, who has losses to Maine, UMass, Hofstra, and Central Michigan. Their best wins are against Memphis, Loyola, and Florida Atlantic. That doesn't seem like a good offset there, and they're 25th in the country right now. Could Cincinnati beat South Florida? Damn well we could beat South Florida. So the question then becomes, how much do they value these metrics in this new day and age where the computers mean so much? Cincinnati is loved by the computers. Will the committee love them? Does Houdini love them? What are your thoughts right now on Cincinnati potentially sneaking into it, even though we've already buried them?
It's hilarious. We've said must-win games for the last like 6. Every single game has been a must-win game. We lost like 4 of those. It's going to be interesting because I know the Clemson coach had a whole presser and Pittsburgh's coach that the Big 12, and I actually said this on a prior show, that we kind of rigged the net rankings with our out-of-conference schedule and, dropping 110 on Stetson and Merrimack and really catering towards the metrics and the net rankings. I've always kind of been a believer that you got to go 500 or above in your conference to really make a real case to say, hey, we deserve to be in the tournament. That being said, UC has to be in, right? Not to be biased at all. No, if really at the end of the day, if we win, if we beat Oklahoma and beat West Virginia and win a game in the Big 12 tournament, I absolutely think that there's a real shot that we get into the dance. Absolutely.
Let's throw up that bracket. Throw up that bracket, Kirby, because Nick Kirby has he has Cincinnati's Big 12 tournament run if the tournament were to start today. He's going to pop that up because the question's going to be, you say they got to win one in the tournament. They got to win another quad 1 game. And maybe that's just a game against, one of the lower quad 1 teams like maybe a Texas, or they pick up a win over a Baylor, who's a really good basketball team, something like that. That would be huge. But if they're in the lowest portion of the bracket and they beat UCF again for the 3rd time, that's not that win that's probably going to get them over the hump. You have that thing, Kirby? Oh, well. Just react to what I said, Houdini, in terms of...
No, you're right. We're going to have to see how the bracket actually plays out. You're right. Like a win against Oklahoma State isn't going to move the needle, right? If they beat a middle of the road, a Texas Tech, a Texas, like you said, Oklahoma, one of those types of teams, and we win out the rest of the regular season, I absolutely think that there's a good chance that UC could be dancing. Now, let's beat Oklahoma first. And we already know that West Virginia is not a cakewalk at all. We've seen that story before. Yeah. So you also got to beat West Virginia. So maybe, I know this is what we do. We're take artists. You got to come out with a hot take. Let's win. Let's beat Oklahoma, and then we're back in the mix. We beat Oklahoma, we're back in the mix, and that's all you can ask for after shit in the bed down the stretch of the Big 12.
All right, so here's what we're doing. You can't see that at all. But anyways, I'm going to read the bracket to you because Kirby does not have the authority to get it up. I would have to pop it in. It would take too long. Cincinnati, as of right now, is the 11 seed in the Big 12 tournament. Their first game would be against Oklahoma State. So they'd be one of 4 teams along with West Virginia and UCF that do not have the first-round byes. And because of that, you say, well, they have to win a game in the Big 12 tournament. That win against Oklahoma State's going to do nothing. That's your lose-lose situation. However, if they win that game, they would go on to play the 6th seed BYU Cougars. You beat Oklahoma. You beat West Virginia. You take down Oklahoma State. You beat BYU. That gets you 21 wins. It adds in 2 more quad 1 wins to get you to 5. I think they'd be in. I think they would be in. And then they'd have Baylor in the Jesus, how many games do they... They'd have to win 5 games in 5 days. Whew, baby. We make that trip, we'll have content on deck for days or for hours if they lose to Oklahoma State again.
Well, yeah, Chuck. I mean, in a perfect world, we rip off 5 straight. Yes, I absolutely. I mean, hell, we were first 4 out like a week ago. We weren't that far away. So if you can pile up some decent wins here, you're going to be at least in the mix. And
that's all we want to do. We just want to sweat, man. We just want to sweat.
I want to watch Selection Sunday and at least have a pulse. Like that's all I'm asking for. Like, give me a pulse on Selection Sunday. It's one of the greatest days that our country has. I want to at least think that we have a chance. Because I remember back in the day, UC got absolutely hosed one year. I think James White was actually on the roster then.
It was Jerry McNamara.
And
It was Jerry McNamara hit the three. Syracuse went on that Cinderella run, and Cincinnati had no business. Honestly, though, here's the thing: is it's probably a good thing that team didn't make it to the tournament because James White and Jahad Muhammad ended up being ineligible for the NIT game. So we would have gotten blasted. It would have been like McGowan, Dominic Tilford, and DeAndre Coleman in the starting lineup. So that year's a wash anyways. But, yes, Andy Kennedy got hosed and may have gotten the job had he won that game.
No.
God bless Jerry McNamara.
I don't know if this is still the case, but Dick Vitale was always the biggest diehard UC homer, I think, because he went to Sarasota a lot or something, and he went to a couple of Skylines down there, and he would always just, if we didn't make the tournament, he would always say, like, I mean, it's an atrocity. It's an atrocity. They didn't put the Cincinnati Bearcats into the Big Dance. I mean, they got some diaper dandies out there.
Devin Downey.
Even if we don't get in.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Downey, this guy's a playmaker. I mean, how do you not get him into the tournament? I mean, this is an absolute abomination. I need Dick Vitale to do that again for me. Even if we don't get in, let's get in the mix. Let's beat Oklahoma. Let's beat West Virginia, and let's get back into it, man. Because the last, I think we lost 5 of 6 games for a stretch, and we finally got off the snide today. So hopefully we can at least end the season on a good note, man, because it's been brutal.
Teams that you want to watch out for, and Kirby's going to look these up and throw them in the chat on what they did because I got to talk live, and I don't have the time to sift through it. But I know Gonzaga plays St. Mary's tonight. You want to root for St. Mary's in that game, although I think Gonzaga is a good enough team to get in, and the computers somewhat like them. Wake Forest is a team the Cats want to lose. Utah State, we don't want Utah State. We don't want Seton Hall. We don't want Providence. We don't want Villanova. We don't want Loyola Chicago, maybe one of those teams that we don't want. Just teams like that are on the bubble. Keep losing, and maybe the Bearcats can sneak back into it. Houston, we're going around the Big 12 right now. Houston is not having an issue with Oklahoma. 63-51, they're beating the Sooners on the road. That would be a quad 1 win for Cincinnati, though. And if they could get that and then get one in the Big 12 tournament, 5, it'd be hard to leave a team out of the tournament that has 5 quad 1 wins and multiple of those coming on the road. TCU 39, BYU 25. I think BYU's slightly overrated. Don't tell the folks in Provo. But I'm not going to be taking them to go past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. Baylor takes down Kansas 82-74. Iowa State comes back to beat UCF, just dominates the Knights down the stretch, 60-52. Texas takes care of Oklahoma State, 81-65. Texas Tech takes care of West Virginia after starting off very slow, 81-70. And then your score, final, out of Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the campus of Clifton, 74, Kansas State, 72. Next up, the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's get into some final thoughts before we shout out the chat room. That game is on Tuesday. It's at 8 p.m., and it's another one on ESPN+. And my God, Kirby, we got to do something about that font. I mean, my eyes are pretty good. I eat my carrots, and I can barely read that. We need to get some white font on that thing. We need to work out the singular kinks. But Oklahoma on the road, what's the opening spread going to be per Houdini out of Vegas? I'm thinking Cats plus 3.5.
I was going to say Cats plus 4 or 4.5. Doesn't matter.
We're taking money line.
Again, for the 9th time, it is a must-win scenario. But I don't know. It's just funny because, as you know, I'm a Gonzaga guy, right? I pick Gonzaga to win the tournament literally every year. If you go through Gonzaga's schedule, like a bubble team, they're 23rd in the AP poll right now. They have beaten legitimately no one, except they do have one major win against
Kentucky.
UK on the road. But I mean, yeah, right. Kentucky, and that is it. Like, they have not done. They beat USC and UCLA. Like, come on, what are we talking about here? They beat Syracuse. Hey, Boeheim's not there anymore. That team stinks. The zone is ass. There's a ton of different teams on the bubble that when you look at their schedule, it's like, who really had a better season at the end of the day? And again, I said you want to be closer to 500 in your own conference to really have a gripe as far as getting into the tournament. But we've said this every show. it's still ahead of us, Chuck. If we just if we rattle off like 4 straight, we're in the dance.
Then what do we
Call me
do about our
crazy.
burial? What do we? I mean, we'd have to get a serious skit together of the Cats rising from the dead. Remake some movie where they come out of the ground and.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get Huggins to get back in the casket. He's not doing anything. He's
Dude,
probably do it.
I was wondering. Here's the deal. For those of you that don't know, like in local TV nowadays, in 2024, it is not easy. I mean, to get a one-on-one with, like, let's say I was working in Lexington. You're not getting one-on-ones with Calipari except for media days. Like, that's it. He's doing media scrums. That's all.
Right.
How in the hell did Fox 19 get Bob Huggins to agree to hop in a casket? And I guess they were the official flagship of the Cats, so that may have had something to do with it. But Horde was just like, hey, Bob, I got a good idea. What do you say you hop in this casket? And Huggins is like, sure, I'll do it. Sounds fun. We're winning every game. But, yeah, that's a funny clip. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, we got to fire that thing back up for the people that stepped in late, because this is how we feel about UC right now. This is how we feel, Houdini.
Why all the long faces? We're not dead yet.
We're not dead yet. And Wake Forest apparently is dead today. They lost to Virginia Tech 87-76. That gives them their 11th loss of the season. Screw Wake Forest. Cincinnati's better than Wake Forest. Who says we're dead yet, Houdini? Final thought.
Wake Forest sucks. All those kids that rush the court should be in prison. Jay Billis said it. I said it too. Wake Forest cannot be in the tournament. I won't stand for it. The Oklahoma game is going to be interesting, because I actually thought one of the few, just to get back to actual basketball over here, Oklahoma controlled that game at Fifth Third. As you know, the big J journalist I was literally on the bench. I was literally on Oklahoma's bench. I was lap to lap with a lot of those players, man. And they actually controlled that game throughout. So this is going to be a really tough battle, and Oklahoma's kind of slid off a little bit here recently. But we got to put everything we can into that. I telling Wes we got to go small. We'll see if Skillings and Victor Locke an injury report is going to be huge. I think we need both, even if it's limited with Vic coming in there. So get everybody healthy, and let's win a game, man. Let's win a game.
Let's win a game. Jay Celia says we need to grill Wes on why we do not attack the rim. I thought Day did a good job of attacking the rim today. Seamoss had that elbow jumper working early. Jizzle did a great job of getting to the rim. I mean, Jizzle, man, he's going to be a superstar if he stays here more than a couple of years.
8 free throws, though?
Yeah.
You need more than 8 free throws. You definitely do. I mean, we went 4 for 8, 50% from the line, but you need more than 8.
A lot of that goes back to not having the bigs, though. Like I said, we don't have that guy that we can give it down low that goes up strong. The only plays that Aziz is touching the ball is when we lob it up to him consistently. And Jamil didn't get a lot of touches today, and Locken, wasn't playing much in the second half. So I get it.
Yeah.
UC wasn't getting fouled on the take.
It's tough because our two guys that can go get a bucket, Jizzle and Day, their game is mid-range, which is kind of in the past as far as what's an efficient basketball shot. But that's where their bread and butter is, so you have to live with it. Jizzle, as they've said on every broadcast, he had a basketball gymnasium in his house, and all he did was shoot mid-range jumpers. So you got to live with it. I know the analytics hate it, but with those two guys, that's kind of their bread and butter. So when we say Day attacking the rim, we saw earlier in the year he's a little too small sometimes when he gets in there, and he just launches it off the backboard. But either way, at the end of the day, attack the rim as much as you can. Guys like Newman, Lukosius, Jizzle, it's always going to reward you in the end if you're attacking the basket, end of the day.
He was confident today. Jizzle, Day looked good on the floor together. Jizzle plays his most minutes of the season by a long shot. He scores 10 points. And the Bearcats pull out a victory. Somehow let Kansas State back in the game. And UC, late, a big Seamoss Lukosius 3 with 10 seconds left, has Bob Huggins saying, they're not dead yet. Future DePaul head coach Bob Huggins, per the random drunk dude in Morgantown, West Virginia, at the hot dog line. Houdini, I already said it, but do you have anything else for me today aside from a Go Cats and a little cheers?
No, cheers, brother. Good win. You got to celebrate them when they happen because it's been a while.
Celebrate. And Wes Miller, one more time. We're going to finish with this. I know I was upset, Wes. I've said some things that I don't always mean. But, Wes, we believe in you. We believe in you. See you, everyone.
That's all I want to do. All I want to do. You stupid son of a bitch.